Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I'm Sunny Bancholi, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings required by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with industry stalwarts interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim at with these sessions, a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge-sharing community. We have one such industry titan on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Captain Ajay Pandey. CPP, PCI, CFE, CII, and CATS. Captain Pandey is a globally certified protection professional, investigator, and fraud examiner with over 27 years of experience in the field of security management. With a background in the Army and security officer roles, which he has honed through various companies in the corporate sector in India and abroad, he brings expertise in building strategies and managing the security of corporate and industrial setups. His career encompasses various challenging assignments, including creating security protocol for CXOs, criminal investigations, crisis management, risk assessment, and security audits. Currently, he is serving in the role of Group Head of Security and CSR, Primera Group, based out of Abu Dhabi, with its operations across 7 countries in Africa. In addition to that, he manages his own company as director at Consultancy Veritas, whereby he is responsible for security consulting, mentorship programs, integrated security processes, and security training services. Welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, Mr. Pandey.
Thank you so much, Sunny. Thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you so much. It's good to be here, actually.
Pleasure. So, Mr. Pandey, could you sum up your career journey with important highlights for our viewers today, please?
Basically, I come from a very humble background. My dad was in Air Force. So my childhood went in on staying on the Air Force camps, surrounded by the uniforms and uniform services, pretty disciplined environment. And then was transferred from every 2 years or 3 years. We're moving from cities to cities and new schools and new friends. That was the life. After completing my graduation, I joined Indian Army, and from being always spending the entire childhood with around the uniform. So uniform was my first choice. Army was my first love always. So I joined Army as air defense in the Army Air Defense. That was in 1987. It got commissioned into 10780 Regiment, and first deployment was at Jalandhar. And straight from the academy, I landed up in the battle zone because Army was deployed that time on the borders, because there was some escalation of armed deployment was there going on that time in 87. And moreover, there was a lot of terrorism in 87 in Punjab as such. So that was the environment where I started my career. Served for about 8.5 years in Army. I was a short service commission officer, though I got my permanent commission, but because of an incident which happened during my tenure, that was an accident basically. So I had to leave Army, otherwise I would have got superseded. So I decided to start my career once again, and I joined Reliance Industries. Fortunately, that was a place I joined in Hazira petrochemical plant. And that is a place where, as a professional, I was developed, trained, and groomed and mentored by my superiors and my peers. I still say that is the best ground for any security professional to start his career from. I mean, the entire gamut of learning, entire gamut of activities or operations which happened, that was there way back in 1995 as well. I was fortunate to be part of the team which was assigned to customize the SAP R3 program. So I started knowing about the systems and integration of the various operations, etc. Along with that, was assigned the superpower user for SAP R3. And then Reliance Industries offered me a good protocol. And wahan par jaisa kehte hain na, if you run fast, then you are made to run faster. So I started as an assistant manager in 1995 and left Reliance Industries as a country head intelligence and quality management system in 2006. So 11 years, that was the journey I covered. And company was definitely recognizing my potential, recognizing the contribution which I'm making. And that's why I grew at a very different stage, different phase. I served in petrochemical plant at Hazira, then went to Jamnagar refinery, then came to telecom, and then left from telecom. After that, I joined Vedanta. That is the place where my mining journey started, gold mining journey to be precise, started. And that was in Armenia. Fantastic country, beautiful place, beautiful people, very helpful. You'll be surprised to know Armenia is a place where Indians are treated as first-class citizens. You've got a home in every home. It's like that. If you walk around on the Republic Square, there'll be a whole lot of people will encircle you, inviting you for coffee and tea and making friendship and exchanging the numbers. Beautiful place. So working over there was fantastic. I was learning the tricks of the trade of mining industry because that was very new. It's a very different industry, and especially if you're working with the gemstones and precious metals. During my work, as it happens, that I try to analyze the things and start visualizing and profiling people, profiling incidents, etc. And that helped me to narrow down on the groups, basically the gold rings which were operating around that. Then with my association with the KGB, the regional KGB, because KGB still operates over there, the same element of Russia. So along with the KGB, I could manage to destroy almost 3 groups out of them, and 1 guy left from there and went away. This entire incident happened in such a way that there was a lot of threat to my life. So my company decided to shift me from there to Zambia, because otherwise there was a lot of security risk happened for me. So I was moved to Zambia. And as the luck would have it, the way I work, again, I rubbed somebody in the wrong side, and there was a Palestinian group, Lebanese group, which got after my life from there. There I again happened to bump into the copper mafias.
Okay.
I left from there and came back to India. I worked with Reliance for another 6 months. Then I got another opportunity to come to Africa this time. So this time I started with Barrick Gold. Barrick is the biggest gold producing company in the world. They've got operations in 28 countries. So Africa, they had 5 countries, operating in 5 countries. So I started as a manager investigations. Again, same thing. I had to bump into armed robber groups, the gold mafias, the smugglers, arrested many people. I mean, there were a lot of ambushes happened. Actually, literally what I did not do in army, I did it in Africa. All the tactics, Fauji tactics and everything was utilized over there. I had a fantastic team, and the company had, the management had excellent support on me and trust on me. Actually, they let me do what I wanted. They provided me all the resources, like everything, anything which I asked for, they gave it to me. And that was a fantastic, one of the best time which I had in Africa. Served with that company for about 16 years. And started as manager investigation at one mine site. Then I was a country head for Tanzania. Then Kenya was added in my profile. Then Burkina Faso was added in my profile. Then Mali was added in the profile. Then Zambia was added. So finally, when I left in 2020, I was the head for security and CSR, or sustainability head for entire operations of that company in Africa. Very challenging. One side, Tanzania, East Africa has got its own challenges of theft, kidnapping, hijacking, etc., etc. Western Africa has got ISIS and Al Qaeda breathing on your neck, so that was a different risk altogether. And I could manage to run my operations with 0 incidents in these countries. So that is one of the biggest achievement, I will say. 0 security incidents, 0 social incidents. But a lot of commitment has come from the company, from the management, or the executive leadership was always with me, and they're supporting us. After Tanzania, I came back. There was a bit of change at the top level, so I thought of changing the company. I was supposed to join Amazon as Asia Pacific head of investigations, but in the meantime, the COVID hit. The position went on hold, and it was shifted from India to Australia. So I was dropped. Otherwise, I was supposed to be joining there. The last stage of physical meeting was left, for which I came back. So that's the time which it gave me to start my own company, Consultancy Veritas, and develop the program, develop the learning platform, which I always dreamt of. Because when I was doing the security certification, I tried to ask help from various people who were certified earlier. Nobody could give me help, or they could just say, okay, if I do this, and it'll happen. I wanted to hold the hands of people because it's a very difficult program, a very difficult course. So I decided that I will hold the hand of a person, and I'll walk him from A to Z. So I had to take time. So it took about 6 months to work on that, develop this program, build the content, launch the program in the month of June, 1st of June, I think. Yeah, 1st of June, I launched the program. And since then, it is just going ahead. And in the meantime, I got an offer to go to Colombia. And this time it was not a precious metal, but it was gemstone, which is another level of risk. So it was an emerald mine, one of the biggest emerald operations over there. Colombia, again, a beautiful country, a lot of new learnings because it was a new sector altogether. So worked with them for some time. And then I decided to come back to India, that enough of working abroad, let's go back to India. So came back to India, worked with one of the petrochemical companies in India for about a year as a vice president of security systems and loss prevention. And I was just sitting in the office and working. Suddenly I got a call from Primera. They said, we need you in Africa. I said, Africa, I'm coming back again. This has become like a second home for me. So came back to Fura, 7 countries, and the countries are expanding. They're adding countries because they've got a vision to become the biggest mining company. And they are into renewable energy, mining of the elements which are used in the renewable energy, like cobalt, coltan, tin, lithium, all these things. Plus, in addition to that, we have got gold and diamond and copper mines as well. So again, back to the same thing. And as I told you, wherever I go, there's an issue happens. Within 3 months, I had to hit 18 smuggling gangs. I hit and finish them. So a lot of risk again. I have to move. I'm going to be moving to Central Africa because here again the risk has started. So I'll give it be on the low flying radar for some time and then come back to the space. So that's the way I operate.
What an excellent start to this interview. And I must congratulate you and compliment you on your excellent interpersonal skills. I'm sure that our viewers will be blown off with the kind of experience and insights you're going to share with them. Okay, continuing our conversation. So here is my next question. What were the biggest challenges you faced during the transition phase from your military career to corporate?
See, the biggest challenge which even now the army officers face is because army is basically a very secured environment, very cocooned environment. They really do not know what happens. On a regular basis, at least 3 to 4 army officers, defense officers, they connect with me. They say, sir, what should I do? And I still find it is the same in 1995 when I left, when I was absolutely not knowing what is the corporate and how I need to behave and how I have to choose a company, how I have to select the profile, which profile is good for me, what the JD speaks about it, whether it relates to my skills and knowledge, etc. I was absolutely clueless, and even today the same thing is happening. So that is one of the biggest challenge, which whenever I get an opportunity, I do speak to the people and try to conduct webinars to educate them. This is how it is. This is how you should look at it. That was there. So it was like a leap of faith. You just jump outside and that's it. But fortunately for me, what happened, I landed in an organization, Reliance Industries, which was that was their second largest site after Patal Ganga. So it was on the stages of construction plus operations both. 40,000 construction workers working at one time in that particular site. So the quantum of people who are working there and the types of operations, security risk, safety risk, everything. And then the department which was created over there by the head of security over there, that had the best of the mix of army and the best of the mix of the corporate world. So I will say my transition after taking the leap from army and coming down and joining Reliance Industries, it was really, really very smooth. I did not get the cultural shock which the people get once they come outside and they behave in a particular manner, because for 20 years, 15 years, 20 years, they have been working or behaving or talking or in a particular manner, and they come outside and they see things are different. That shock was not there with me. First is I did not serve a long time, but 8 years was not that long time. Second was this department was ready to accept people with the temperament which they come from armed forces and transition them smoothly. So I will say, particularly myself, I did not face any challenges in that. Yes, the department also had the proper structure of hierarchy. So we knew who has got the roles and responsibilities were defined. Reliance was always organized. Not only my department, but the entire operation of Reliance was very organized with clear roles and responsibilities, clear accountability factor, clear up KPIs, etc. So we knew what is our scope. Plus the manager, the site level, the president of the company at that place, and the department head, they both were so much in sync that they gave opportunities to us, the youngsters who are joining the organization straight from the army. They gave us to explore the world. They were standing behind us. They never believed on the zero error. They said, son, commit a mistake, not a problem, tell me, I'm behind you. The credits are yours, positives are yours, negatives I'll take onto it. So that gave a lot of freedom and a lot of confidence to us to go and explore new ideas, new things. I represented Reliance Industries in quality management circle competition internationally in Japan. right? That was the first time a security department or security team has ever participated in quality management circle competition, because quality management people come from the production units, technical units, QA/QC units, but security, what do you produce? How you add values? What is the productions? How you quantify your achievements? And that is a place where I learned how to quantify all intangible things. And then I started talking in numbers, and that's what my habit is. Today, when I put up my papers, it is learning of that time. My all intangible things are in numbers. So when it goes to the CFO or CEO, they understand what I'm talking about, what benefit I'm going to add to the organization by this. And I put ROI on those things, right? So because those people, they understand the numbers. So security professionals' biggest issue is, or biggest, what you call a drawback is, they do not know how to convert intangible things into tangible numbers, which I learned during that time, which is really helping me right now. When I propagate that thing during my mentorship, that this is going to be a core strength as a security professional or security leader. Work-life balance is one other thing which we see in Army. We had very stringent, very strict discipline life, a lot of work pressure, a lot of movements, etc. Reliance offered the same. So the challenges kept on going. So as I told you, I used to run. I used to grab the responsibility. I never said that this is not my job. This word has never spoken by me ever. You tell me, Ajay, this is the problem. I said, okay, fine. Let me deal with this. So as a result, what happened? I not only grew professionally in the domain of security, I grew as an organization. I know everything of logistics, supply chain, HR, payroll, finances, budgets, processes, laboratory testings, and QA/QC of all the places. I know everything. And that basically helps me to analyze the entire operation and put mitigating measures where I can protect the losses of the organization, not only from the security point of view. The CPV certification specifically mentions this, that it is just the 20% losses which happens at the perimeter, 80% losses happens inside. It is the 80% people who are manager and above, they create losses for the company. So I don't look at perimeter. My junior level people, junior staff, they look after the perimeter. I look after 80% inside. So that's what helps me to protect the interests of the organization, and protect the brand of the company, protect the reputation of the company. So that's what helps them. So I will say it was pretty smooth. And it also, thanks to the people who were already there in the department, the culture which Reliance Industries had. And I had the opportunity to work very closely to Mukesh Bhai, Anil Bhai, because when the telecom business was being launched, not that I cannot say they know me, but I know them very closely. We were closer. I've seen them physically, how they act, how they work, how they think, how they take decisions, and working hours, you can't believe. They work for 18 to 20 hours a day. I mean, that's the time. And I have started working for about 16 to 18 hours a day. I work every day since that time. So it has given me a lot of stamina to work. I can organize my work very well. I can prioritize my work very well because of those things which happen. So, and after leaving Reliance, I have said this many times, that whatever I have learned in Reliance, I have stopped learning after that. Not stopped learning as such, because I did my certification. I did a lot of other things. I learned a lot of other things. I'm still doing a certification. So not learning from that point of view, but for security core business, I have only applied what I learned over there. And I had been successful in Armenia, Africa, now sitting here and doing the same job.
Amazing. Amazing. Right. So, Mr. Pandey, what has been the biggest achievement in your professional life so far?
The biggest achievement, if I say, all the successes of the incidents or events or my investigations has been my achievements, right? And of course, it was always supported. It was always, awarded accordingly. I passed out with a silver medal from OTA. I was second in the order of merit. I was the best performer for 6 years continuously in Reliance Industries. And as I mentioned, started at 1995 as assistant manager security. And I was the country head for this thing in just 11 years time. That's a very short time, almost 6 to 7 promotions I got in 11 years. I could manage to eliminate the 75% elimination of the gold ring in Armenia, complete elimination in Tanzania, recovery of $10 million of gold and hundreds of thousands of dollars of cash plus 87 arrests was one incident, which was immediately launched me in a different ballgame altogether in my company. I also got Outstanding Performance Award for outstanding security training initiative, which I started during the COVID period, the Consultancy Veritas. I got Shiksha Bharati Award for 2021. After that, my successes, I will put it that all my work, which has been succeeded, all my successful completion of projects, my projects have been my successful thing. And the biggest achievement which I had in Africa, as I mentioned, 0 incidents, 0 security, and 0 social incidents. And my operations were operating in the highest risk situation. I could manage my operations without any downtime. That was my biggest achievement. That I'll put it as that. Till now, if any work happens, any incident happens, any risk happens, if I have to do a job, I never say I will not do it. I enhance my preparation. I take extra preventative measures, extra measures, and I stick to my time. I don't change my time and date, because in Africa, if you change your date and time, they don't respect you. So I tell them that I'm coming at this time and I go at that time, you come and get me. So that is the thing. That's how in Africa you survive. It's a jungle Raj. So jungle Raj dominance is the key. So if you do not dominate, you don't survive. So I do that.
Rightly said, Mr. Pandey. And congratulations on all your achievements and many more to come, surely. So, Mr. Pandey, as someone who has worked in India and abroad across sectors, do you find disparity in corporate governance practices between India and other countries?
Yes, there are a lot of differences are there. Though India is now opening up after the multinational companies coming and operating in India, the thought process is changing. It is evolving. You can find 2 types of industry. One is family-based business and the corporate businesses. So there is a clear shift. I had an opportunity of work for 1 year when I was in India, just in 2021-22. That was a family business. It was all controlled by one person. He decides what is to be done, and there he has got a quota around him, and they're the people who influence the entire thing. But they also know they have to change. So that's one thing. So basically, if I see, if you see the countries like abroad and the country or the corporates which are operating from Canada, Australia, or US, they put a lot of emphasis on the independent directors. The independent directors have got the they're autonomous. They contribute objectively without any biased judgments. They contribute to the board. Whereas in India, first is the number of independent directors is pretty less, and at the same time, their independence is questioned many a times. Right. Second thing, which I've seen, the shareholders' activities or shareholders' involvement outside, I felt it's quite a bit, and they can really influence the decision of the board as well. One of the incidents which happened in Burkina Faso when we were there, initially Burkina Faso was a very peaceful country till from 2014 to 2017 or so. But 2017 onwards, I started seeing after the Syria went down, Libya went down. So there was a whole lot of shift of ISS presence was happening. I could see that Burkina Faso is not going to be as safe country as to operate. So I put up a process that I need to change the status, and I shared it with my CEO. CEO approved it, but it went to the General Council as well, and General Council happened to share it to the shareholders. Now shareholders said no, because your plan has got a potential of excessive use of force and human rights violations. So I had lengthy meetings with them that I'm not new to this company. I've been working for such a long time. Have you ever seen even a single incident of human rights violations or excessive use of force in my operations? They said, no, it has not happened, but this plan has got a potential. So I had to put my foot down. I said, this is the risk I'm setting. Right? ISIS is closing every year, every day. It is coming about 30 to 40 kilometers closing into my operation sites. I have to increase the presence. Otherwise, I can't deal with them. So then when I said, okay, fine. If that's not the case, then they don't hold me responsible if you have got a fatality or got injury in the operations. They said, no, hold on. We don't want this, but we want it to be audited. I said, yes, bring an independent auditor, let him audit my plan, and that is good. So they deputed a person from UK, right? Forces, British forces, he came down, and 1 month audit he conducted of Burkina Faso and Mali. And after that, after his report only, he could clear my plan. So shareholders, they do look at all those things: human rights violations, voluntary principles of security of human rights, excessive use of forces, reputation damage, etc., etc. Those are things in a big way as for the companies operating outside is concerned. In addition to that, the disclosure and the transparency which they maintain is very high. I'm not saying in India. For example, even if I have to hire a vendor for supplying product X, I have to do an entire due diligence process about him, that this person is not connected to the government. It is not connected. His wife is not a government official. His son is not working with anything with, I mean, entire family. I have to check it out that the money which I'm going to paying against the purchase of a product, it should not have a slightest potential of reaching to a government official, which can be seen as a bribing government official, and we are charged under UK Corrupt Practice or Foreign Corrupt Practice Acts. So they go to that length. One of the incidents I will mention here, one of my boys, he was traveling from Mali to Burkina Faso by road, and he was stopped by the immigration people. They took his passport, and they say, "You pay me money, and then I'll give you a passport back." He said, "No, I cannot give money. My company does not allow," because that was one thing which I used to teach every year, renew these training programs. So they said, "No, we'll not give you a passport." So he didn't have any other option but to pay them something and come back. He paid $4, just $4, and came back.
Okay.
What he did, he came back and informed about it to somebody. I paid $4. Should I claim for the company, etc.? That was picked up by General Counsel, and it came as a serious objection to us that an officer of government was bribed. It took me almost a week to research the documents and the legal things, where I could find a clause that if somebody has to pay under duress, then it is not a violation. So with that, I was fortunate to find that particular clause. Otherwise, this boy would have lost his job, and we would have slapped with a non-compliance thing onto us. So you can imagine how careful they are, how particular they are about these things. This is lacking a lot in India, right? So the culture is changing, the shift is there, the awareness is being created, but it will take time to change the temperament. Another thing which I see is third-party transactions. In India, we don't even blink an eye. We say, okay, fine, uske brother hai, usko de do uska contract, wo bhi kaam karte de do. Outside, like I mentioned, for hiring a vendor to supply a particular product, you do so much of due diligence. Forget about third party, is absolutely ruled out. Absolutely ruled out. Every year, I have to give a declaration that nobody in my family and large family, there is anybody into government official. And if he's a government official, whether his position can impact or influence my operations or the company's operations or not. Right. So for example, if I'm in a mining industry, if suppose my cousin brother's wife is a teacher, she's a government official, but teaching profession does not impact here, does not connect with this. So it's okay. So you have to give a declaration every year. Every person, 100% people have to give a declaration. So those are the emphasis, those are the types of emphasis which is laid by the companies or organization outside, which is lacking in India. India is picking up. Another big difference which I see is in the CSR programs. We don't have the concept. I've not heard anybody using the word social license to operate. Like right. These companies, they work on social license to operate, and there is a strategy put in place. There are funding, there are people, there are projects, and those projects or social drives, which is designed by which is identified by the companies for the society to grow along with the company, is very strictly followed and audited, right? Whereas in India, I see that there is a clause where there is a certain percentage of your profits or turnover has to be invested back into the community, but the way it is invested into the community is questionable, because it's not with a clear this thing. And second thing, it is not voluntary. These companies, these corporates operating outside, abroad, they take it as a volunteer responsibility. They believe that we grow along with the society, with the community. We are not away from the community. We go to an extent, like at one of the sites, we thought of, because of security risks, we thought of putting a boundary wall. It was objected big way. I said, what's wrong in putting a boundary wall? It's my perimeter which I'm in securing. He said, no, boundary wall gives an idea or impression of exclusion. We have to have a fence which gives an inclusive feeling. You know how far and what temperament these guys have got. So that's how it is. All the local purchase, local procurement, everything happens from the villages. They're under the CSR program. All those things are done. So I've seen communities growing along with us. Remotest areas are growing along with us. Where I went earlier, there was not even a small restaurant, but then after 2-3 years or so, when I go there or when I left that place, I found hotels and restaurants and pubs and bars have come out over there. There are proper accommodations are there. There's a hospital has come up, all those things. Though company has also created a lot of infrastructure for them. Like if you go to Zambia, you go to Zimbabwe, or the old mining sites are there. They've created like a cantonment, like a military cantonment. It's as beautiful as a military cantonment. When you drive through that, you get a feeling you're driving in a cantonment. The hedges, the fencing, the bungalows, the houses are exactly like that. They've got 100-bed hospital. They've got Olympic-sized stadium, including Olympic-sized swimming pool. They've got clubs for badminton, tennis, racket, polo, golf, name a sport. There is a club dedicated to that. So when a mine is taken over, they took over the entire infrastructure and look after it, which supports the community. So that's the way these guys look at it. So we have got a long way to go, but the good is that the move has started. That's the best thing. That's the best thing.
Rightly said, and mind-blowing insights and mind-blowing facts that you shared with us and our viewers. And I'm sure that our viewers will come to know about so many different things that happens across the globe, and will learn definitely for sure. Okay, Mr. Pandey, how do you envisage India's position in the corporate landscape in the coming years?
This thing I tell to many people that earlier when I was working from 2006 onwards, I started working in Africa, and it was I was only Indian in my department in entire company, in all 28 operations. And we had Australians, South Africans, Canadians, and Americans, few Americans, but South African, Australian, Canadian, they were the dominating nationalities over there. And the way we used to interact personally, at personal level or friendlier level, was very different than after 2014 or so, 2014, 2015, 2016. I don't watch and follow my news. But my Australian counterparts, they follow the news. They come and tell me that this is what is happening in India. Ajay, did you see that? So that's the level shift change has happened. Whenever I boarded a taxi, the guy used to ask me, because of my light eyes and thick mustaches, sometimes they mistake me for an Iranian as well. South Indian, they definitely mistake me many times. So they say, are you from Iran? I said, no, I'm from India. He said, okay, fine. I mean, the one thing which I hear is, if my country gets a prime minister like your country, my country will be something different. This is a universal thing which I found, right? So the confidence of my own confidence in 2006, my own confidence now when I work abroad is totally different. I'm telling my own experience. That's number one. So India is a power. It is emerging as a superpower, and it is going to be game-changing for the entire world. We have seen what has happened, what is happening in last couple of years and during the COVID situation as well. Our middle class is so strong that it can take the bolt of recession as well, which many developed countries have just slumped into the recession, and they could not come out of it, or they are struggling to survive with that. We are not. We are one of the fastest growing economy in the world, and we are here to grow. I'm very confident. I'm a proud Indian, and I'm a absolutely fanatic Indian. So you will hear these type of words from me. Our 1.3 billion population is the strongest, youngest generation sitting out here to deliver, to produce, to mend, to develop, to create. So what else we have to look for? We have got the strength. So the world has got no other option but to come to us if they want to support. It is we who can support them. Digital era which is happening. Working in Barrick, biggest gold producing company in the world, but they used to operate with the same Babu system of paper. 3 people will sign, then it will go there, and the paper has to be shown, etc., etc. When I went there, I said, "What's happening?" In Reliance, 1995, we implemented SAP R3, and everything was automated, everything was system. It was a paperless office, and you were dealing with papers. And if I want to show me a paper of one month back, you have to take 3 days to look for that paper. I said, it's not done. So some of the guys, they heard me, and they said, okay, fine, GM wants to meet you and he wants to hear your ideas. So I went there. He said, tell me about it. So I told him a process of recruitment, basically HR process. I just started with him. He said, okay, man, come with me and let's go to, can you explain to in my meeting? I said, sure. He said, when? I asked him when. He said, now. So I just boarded his vehicle and went there. I saw 70 people sitting, everybody from down below him up to the superintendents, because the British ranking structures, up to superintendent studies. There were more than 70 guys. And he said, okay, fine, give me the presentation. So I just picked up a few red, black, and blue markers and put on the board and started making the diagrams of this goes there, this goes there. And after half an hour, I did not know which arrow is going to which box or which circle or which oval. But I completed this thing, and they said, this is how it is. And it was pin drop silence. So One person asked, AJ, what you're speaking, is it possible? He was an Australian guy. I said, possible? What I'm speaking right now is 10 years old, because 1995 we implemented it. Today is 2006. So 11 years back we worked on it. He says, can it be done? I said, yes, it can be done by a team of developers. My boss, who was a British, he said, I don't have funds. So I had a South African CFO. He said, I've got money, Ajay, put up the budget. So I said, I can't do, I'm not technically qualified to know how much money, how much time, how many people are required. I have to contact somebody. So incidentally, there was a team of developers working over there, which was again from India, working for geological department. I connected with them. I said, see, this is what the project is. This is what I want to create. So they took about a week to put the scope of work, etc., etc. And then a budget of $280,000 was sanctioned. And I was given a team of 7 developers. It took me 14 months to recreate entire SAP R3. I recreated it, 14 months. And then it was implemented in Tanzania on one mine, and it was run. The very first month of implementation, we got a ring of ghost employees and misappropriation of bonuses and overtimes, which was equivalent to $340,000. So my ROI was delivered within 1 month only, and after that it was free of cost. Right. Then it was implemented across Africa, and then it was implemented in other countries and this thing also. So, but this I could do because I'm non-technical, absolutely. I do not know coding, but I, working with the team of customizing SAP R3, could give me the logical connections or logical framework of a program. So I know the logics. I know where the input has to come and what is the process, what is the outcome. Simple that. So I could deliver that. So there are very many people who are like me. That is why you see that it is the opportunity which is making so much of startups to come up, right? And the people have got potential, they've got energy, they've got knowledge, and the technology which it is coming up. Make in India thing and digital India. This is one of the biggest boom for the country I'm looking at. So and then government is also, they know that there had been gaps, there had been issues for doing businesses, for compliances, for various regulatory norms, taxation, etc. They are bringing in systems in place which is streamlining these things. They are taking steps to remove the human element, which basically causes the negative impact in the entire process, and automate it or digitize it, so that it's a system takes a decision, not a person takes a decision on those things. So that is one thing which I'm looking very positively about it. When we see a couple of, I meet and talk to my French counterparts or British counterparts, and even show them my driving license. They still carry that five-page book license till now in 2023. Can you believe it? French. Even my COVID card is digitized.
Right.
Right. So this is the difference. This is the difference. I visited a city in Alwar. We had a get together for my course, and Alwar is a small city. I even did the COVID test, went over there. Then when I was supposed to come back, I thought, "Kahan milega mujhe COVID test ke liye?" When I went over there was a dharamshala which was converted into COVID center, and I paid 30 rupees as a fee for COVID test. Waited for 15 minutes because once they open the ampule, there is a certain number of tests required to be done. Otherwise, it's a waste, it's a loss. So they waited for 15 minutes for a few more people to come. And then the test was done. That was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 9 o'clock, I get a SMS on my phone that my COVID test is negative and I can take the flight. Now you can imagine this type of infrastructure has been created across the country. How much supply chain, how much logistic requirement was there that this has been created everywhere. We are not small country. We are not small population. Not a single center you found got a complaint that the people went over there for injection, but the injection was not available. Not a single place it has happened. I've not heard any such news, right? So you can imagine the magnitude of function, the magnitude of planning which has gone behind that, magnitude of resources which has been mobilized, and people at every level has contributed into it. It is the common population, the poor people, the rickshaw driver, the cab driver, the ambulance driver, truck drivers, they all have contributed into it, and they have shared the responsibility for the success of this entire thing and saved the lives of the country. So we are there. We are going to be there. This is our time.
Rightly said. Rightly said. I completely agree with you, sir. And since we are talking about technology, so here is my next. What all changes with technology have you seen in any of the industries you have worked for? And what changes do you foresee with the advent of technology like IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, Web 3.0, etc., etc.?
Actually, frankly speaking, I will not be able to comment on few of those things which you have mentioned, but yes, definitely I will cover this into two aspects. One is mining as an industry, what changes has come into mining industry, and then I'll touch upon security as a domain. These two places. Mining is always is a labor intensive job where you are supposed to dig the earth, take out the minerals, refine it, and use it or sell it. That's what the job is, and that's how it used to operate. And that created a lot of risk to the people, a lot of environmental damage to the people, a lot of climate change used to happen over there. The rivers and water bodies used to get contaminated because there is no other way of processing those certain type of minerals. If you're processing gold, for example, you have to use cyanide. There is no other process, right? Otherwise, the recovery will be not more than 60% of the total produce. So 40% of the gold will go waste, which nobody wants to do it. With cyanide, also the recovery happens to about 83 to 89%. It doesn't go beyond that. Now, handling cyanide, disposing it properly, responsibly, so that does not contaminate the environment, all those things, and exposure to the human being who are working in that environment. All those things have to be taken care of. While when you do mining, you go to the sectors. Open cast has got a lesser risk than the underground mining operations. Though responsible companies, they invest heavily onto the reinforcement what they create after the underground mining. We used to spend use almost 300 tons of cement every day, so that all the thing which comes out is again reinforced back, so that collapses do not happen. We never had any incident of that type in about 16 years of my working with the company. But these things are there. But still, in addition to that, instead of people going and doing the mining, people going and doing the exploration, trying to collect the samples, there are a whole lot of robotics have come into play. Now, there are automatic robots are there. They're doing the mining in the risk areas. They can go into a narrower zone where the human being is not supposed to be going, or it is risky for them to go, where there is a lack of oxygen, or there could be such risk could be exposed. A person could be exposed. So there is automation is happening. Remote controlling and monitoring is happening. All your what do you call environmental data, your water, your gas, your air, oxygen availability, etc. This is continuously monitored, and it is displayed in the control room where the dispatch is sitting. He is monitoring the entire mine site, which could be 25 kilometer long, 30 kilometer long. Of course, it's a confined area, but number of circles it makes it becomes 25, 30 kilometer, 40 kilometers long. So he's monitoring everything. Any changes in the parameter, any changes in the environment is reflected at his location, and he can take preventive actions, evasive actions, or evacuation can be done. They know exactly which person is moving where, which place, who is at that location. They know if the blasting is to take place, whether everybody has come out or not. So every person, every vehicle is monitored underground. Sometime back, about 10 years back, 10 to 15 years back, it was very difficult to have the communication from underground. Then the leaky feeder system came. Now, with the leaky feeder system, you can go 3 kilometers or 5 kilometers underground. You can still communicate on your radios, right? You can monitor each and every individual. You can monitor each and every vehicle. Their anti-crash systems have come into place in the vehicles. Like sometimes there's a blind turns are there. Two vehicles are coming simultaneously. They may hit each other. But no, the moment they come 50 meters apart, it gives a signal to both the operators that there's other equipment around you. So there's lots of things which have changed and which are changing even now. Drone technologies which has come in, which is helping us in doing the remote sensing, remote monitoring, electromagnetic study for the mineral deposits, etc. That we do it. Otherwise, people have to go on ground and do those type of jobs. Advanced systems of data analysis have come into place. Now, data is one thing. Data is the what do you call? It's the cost, it's the value, it's the basically core thing for you. And if the data can be analyzed properly, effectively, automatically, and in real time, it gives you so much of information and helps you in conducting your operation in much safer and in effective manner. So these are the changes which are happening. I've seen in mining industry, especially. Coming to security industry, it is a big thing has happened. Like right now, I'm busy making my GSOC, Global Security Operations Center in Abu Dhabi. Every country will be having a country operation center, right? And that will be NOC, National Operations. Every site will have its own site operation center. Each site operation center will be monitored by the NOC, National Operating Center, and every NOC will be monitored by my GSOC. There, the information which I'll be having, every person entering and exiting, every person's location on every site, every visitor, every vendor, their medical parameters, their point of contacts, my vehicles moving, my journey management plan, evacuations, etc. In case anything happens, the environmental parameters which are there, everything is going to be there, country-wise, site-wise, deployed at that location. Any movement happening from any location to any location will be controlled and monitored by me. The movements will have checkpoints and I need to get inputs ki yahan pahunch gaya, जैसे ही वो वहां पहुंचेगा उसके आगे के पॉइंट, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल 1 पॉइंट से 2 पॉइंट के बीच में करीब 30 से 35 किलोमीटर डिस्टेंस है. When I get the report that Ajay has reached a point B, तो point B से point C के बीच में एरिया सिक्योर है कि नहीं है, वो कंफर्मेशन लेना है, उसको कंफर्म करना है, ओके कंटिन्यू मूविंग. सो whole lot of those things will be controlled by the SOCs or national SOC and monitored by GSOC, because if this person fails to react within 30 seconds, then GSOC takes over the control, right? So there's a escalation parameters which has been built in. Then the feed from the drones, feed from each camera, each surfaces is going to be available at all the 3 locations: Site Operation Center, National Operation Center, and GSOC. So my CEO, if he wants to see a particular phase where he was expecting there's a high potential gold is coming out, I want to see the mining happening at that point, he can sit in Abu Dhabi and see it instead of walking to Central Africa or to Burundi. He can do that. So these are the things which I am looking at it, which is going to be a game changer.
Absolutely. And the kind of insights that you are sharing with our viewers is mind-blowing. So much to learn, so much to know about. And in fact, this interview will prove to be one of the best interviews so far. Continuing our conversations, I would like to ask that we are building a community of FaceTime with leaders, and it is aimed at cross-pollination of knowledge, something that will lead to robust corporate governance in India, and build a community of non-executive directors for its robust framework. So what are your thoughts about this?
This is very encouraging, actually. I had the opportunity to be part of one of the WhatsApp group on which quite a few of us are there, about 40, 50 of us are there, and had the sessions with Mr. Krishnamurthy as well. And so much of knowledge is there with people who are coming from diverse backgrounds, diverse experiences, diverse knowledge domains, that this is going to be a very strong force which will be helping very positively on driving the industrialization or industrialized organizational growth in India, actually. This particular community which you're talking about is like the other day we were having this session. There were about 20-25 people sitting over there. We were having this live session, and there was a mentoring session was happening for the Independent Directors program. So it's just calculating. Even if I put 10 people, each having 35 years of experience, we have got 350 years of experience sitting and talking. You can imagine. It is huge. It is huge. I, coming from security background, I've been into investigations, I've been into evacuations, I've been created an ERP, which as a non-technical person, I've done that project for that. I mean, so many things I can contribute and handle that. Community relations, I've been managing, stakeholders engagement, the process of stakeholders engagement, and how to take the entire thing through, how to budget the entire project, and go and say no to the person who doesn't feel bad about it, right? So these are things which we will be learning from each other, and that skills and experiences which we can share with each other, the expertise and the insights which we have gathered, if it is not shared, it is a waste, right? If I don't share my knowledge with a young boy and train him and mentor him, then this 35 years of experience is going to become zero once I leave. So it is better that it should be passed on to the new generation, or first is among us who requires it, who's a bit weaker in that particular area, first to empower him. Second thing is to pass on to the new generation so that they have got a better launchpad than where we started from. We have learned the hard way, but there is no point reinventing the entire wheel. We can start from midway and go even further higher. So I think this will be a fantastic opportunity and fantastic drive which you have started to have a community of non-executive directors. This will also give a lot of strength to each other, because then we become the supporting powers to each other. And we will know if I get stuck in a situation, I will know that I have to go to this community. Somebody will definitely have something which will help me out. And if there is something wrong is going to happen, the people who are standing behind me. And this is the community which again can basically be instrumental in ensuring that non-executive directors or independent directors get their position, which they are supposed to get in an Indian environment, and changing and breaking the barrier of that family business control in people, then control in process. So that's what I look at it.
Amazing, amazing. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will definitely inspire the future leaders. Thank you, Captain Ajay Pandey, for joining us today. We wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover,
thank you so much, Thank you so much.
Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute has unquestionably expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ami. Nice talking to you, and thank you so much.